One Piece.
One Piece.
Oh my god. Wow. Like
this chapter. Okay, so I have to ask you this, bro.
Comprehension.
Right.
Comprehension. Here we go.
I was. This chapter.
Are you dumb?
Was
Are you
great.
being dumb? Am I gonna cringe?
I don't give a fuck if I'm being dumb or not.
I do.
This chapter.
Every time you're dumb,
like,
my hypothetical want to marry you goes down.
With this chapter,
out.
I was like, holy shit. So it kind of got cleared up for me a little bit.
Your phone better. I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Hello, now. Hello.
Okay, go.
So, dude, you have to feel me on this. Were you confused when it went from, Odin was in their Orochi to Odin is dancing in the street?
Well, that's the point. It was because we're not supposed to know what happened, what went down. They made a deal. We don't know what the deal is yet.
Okay, because we know what the deal was at the end. I was confused as fuck. Because what I thought was, because when I saw like the lady doing like she had a transformation devil fruit, I was like, oh, they probably sabotaged Odin. Like something happened in the thing. They sabotaged Odin to where this lady, like dressed up as Odin, like used her devil fruit.
Right, that's a fair thought to have until the scene where he's sitting with his scabbards and they're like asking him, and then he's just like, no, that's just my job, you know. Like at that point, I was like, well, clearly it's really him, right?
Yeah, because
go ahead.
That's what I realized. Cause I was confused as fuck. Like, it went from that to like straight up Odin
right, but
being
like this is one of those areas where it's not confusion based on Oda not writing well enough. This was intentional confusion. Oda left out details. Because there was that scene, because there was the scene where it was just the narrator, you know, and it was just like, now it was talking about from the perspective of the people watching from the outside of the castle. It was like, you know, from their perspective, Odin came back, and imagine this, seriously, from the perspective of the citizens, okay? You're a citizen of, okay, let's use America for, actually, this is going to be a beautiful thing, okay? So you're a citizen of America, okay? And Donald Trump becomes the president. And he's got the evil fucking Kaido / I don't know, name random dictator here supporting him. Okay? And you're like, fuck. Oh, God. And you're just watching your country get worse and worse around you. Living conditions are getting worse. Your pay is getting lower. You're getting fucking, like, you're watching people get killed left and right. Children being put in cages. Oops, that's real life. Anyway, but... And then you see fucking Bernie Sanders Naruto running into the White House, and you're like, holy fuck!
Oh fuck.
So you're sitting there and you're like, fuck. Bernie Sanders just Naruto ran into the White House and he's got like, I don't know, a fucking huge ass anime sword, and you're like, here we go. It's happening, boys. We're free. And then he comes out dancing naked on the streets with no explanation. The disappointment you'd feel for someone that you respected, for someone that you thought was going to get you out of this shit. Oh my God. And that was the point of what Orochi, whatever Orochi did. He made him a deal. It seems to be implied something, because later in the chapter he says, what about the ships? So it seems they made some sort of deal. I don't know if it was going to be like, hey, have Kaido leave, prepare some ships for Kaido to leave, or maybe prepare some ships for some of my family to leave, or I have no idea. But he mentions something about ships later. But whatever deal they made, it kind of reminds me of like the Nami Arlong deal, where Nami had to go and do a bunch of fucked up shit, and then he promised to let her buy back her city or town, and then he was like, nah, fuck you, right? So, but yeah, that's essentially like from the perspective of the townspeople, that's what happened, you know. And I love that scene because comprehension coming in again back in chapter, I think it was like 816ish or something, back in like Zou time still. When Oda being amazing. So like over 100 chapters ago, when Momonosuke was remembering Odin, one of the things he remembered was Kaido saying to him, your father is a fool of a lord, which is exactly what people started calling him in this chapter.
Yeah, so fool of a lord.
Yeah,
okay.
But essentially what happened here is, it's starting to make sense now, because remember at the beginning of Wano, everyone was kind of like the kids, the teachers, you know, they were teaching this different history about how like Orochi came in and he slayed the evil Odin, and you know, Odin was a fool, and like the kids, like we saw in the beginning of Wano, to this day in Wano, kids are still singing songs about how dumb Odin was. So what Orochi did was, before they even ended up killing him, which is probably about to happen, they didn't even, that wasn't enough for them. They had to besmirch his name. They had to make people hate him. But then again, whatever he's about to do here, I'm hoping that this final battle here is going to be epic enough for him to at least regain some of the love. But, you know, propaganda is a hell of a drug, obviously. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. And I think one of my favorite parts of this chapter was that narration box where it's like, imagine what these people felt, because they literally saw their savior fucking running into the castle and then coming out, you know, being just humiliating themselves and with no explanation.
So and throughout the chapter, because it said this is going on for years, bro, like years.
5 years, it seemed.
Like, oh god, that must be
once a week, 5 years, different fucking food name on his loincloth every time.
Like, Jesus Christ, like, you imagine, like, the fucking, like,
the dedication, the humiliation.
Oda's doing some good shit right now, because the way, like, you look at the fucking faces of the citizens, they're
so sad.
Bro. Like, it's literally the faces of the people that were, like you remember when Donald Trump got elected? There were like a bunch of fucking people outside, like the fucking DC. Like, that's what it was. Like that shit.
There was a great comparison. Do you remember Flampe from the Whole Cake Island arc? She was the one that was all like, "Katakuri's so amazing, I love Katakuri," and then when she saw his jaw, she was like, "Fuck you." There was a great tweet. I don't remember who did it, but it was someone who was like, "There's a whole lot of Flampes in the fan base," and ironically, the fan base is acting like the townspeople in this chapter, because apparently a lot of people are like that were like standing Oden are like, "Oh man, he's not as cool anymore," and that just shows you how like Oda's literally shitting on those type of fans.
That's cringe.
Yeah, it is cringe, and that's funny because it's just like all the people that watch Rick and Morty that make fun of people that are like Jerry, but they themselves are like Jerry.
Yeah, I hate Jerry because he, you know.
I understand, but you agree with me that there's a lot of people that watch Rick and Morty that think they're Ricks, but actually are Jerrys.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. This is the same thing. There are a lot of people that don't realize that they are just as bad as the Flampe that they claim to hate, where they'll switch on a dime at any second. You know, I've made fun of King Lightning in the past on this. You know, like he'll completely abandon a character if they fucking show any sign of weakness, and you know what I mean. Like he's all about power scaling. He's gotten a little better over the years, but like there was a time where, you know, like I remember him shitting on fucking Moomin Rider in fucking One Punch Man. Like saying he was a waste of time and he was pointless and he was taking up Saitama's screen time and shit.
Saitama's screen time.
Like not realizing that the whole point of One Punch Man is the shit that happens before Saitama gets there.
Yeah, so
that's what I'm saying, though, right? So like, yeah, like it's harsh but true that's what happens. You know, people's loyalty will turn on a dime like that, and all it took was Orochi to make him make a fool of himself.
Yeah, so my question is so okay, we have this, right? So
you want to talk about the old guy having fucking Bartolomeo's fruit?
Oh yeah,
that bro, Oda. I gotta be honest,
and
I'm waiting for people to shit on Oda for this, even though it'd be bullshit if they did. But I was just waiting for people to be like, Oda, not being original, reusing designs. Like, oh no, he's only made fucking 1,000 powers. Like, get off his back, Jesus.
Why would he? I mean, it makes sense. Like, I'd be shocked if
but people are gonna say it. You know they are.
Well, no, I'm saying, you know, yours makes sense. Like, why would he not reuse the same powers? Like, devil fruits, like, keep in mind, like, where we're at time-wise, right? Like, why would they not have, like, a fruit that someone in this today's time has it, right? Like, devil fruits are supposed to be mysterious things that you find by accident or on a whim.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just, like, it's supposed to be, like, when person dies, it's going to be the next fruit that's nearby. So, I mean, it makes sense. I wouldn't be surprised if Oda showed us that there was someone who had Luffy's fruit before Luffy had it, right? Because it makes sense. Because, I mean, it makes sense, though. Like,
well, yeah, we already, yeah. Oh, bro, what if Joy Boy had it?
Joy Boy?
Joy Boy had that stretchy dick.
I mean, that'd be a little cliche, probably.
It would be. It would. Well, it's not as cliche as what people were theorizing for a while, which was that Roger had it. Look it up. That was a theory.
Wow. That's actually so funny.
Oh, yeah.
Roger.
But, yeah, I think that's really interesting. Also, it makes me want to know who the fuck these two are, okay? Because, like, already when the old woman showed up and she had the fucking clone fruit, okay? I'm already like, who the fuck are you, right? But then I don't know if you noticed, and this is something I didn't even notice until someone. I've been seeing people mention it retroactively in videos. I don't remember what movie he was from, but do you remember Shiki?
Yeah.
Did you see the movie with Shiki?
I remember his name.
Okay, I unfortunately don't watch the movies except for Stampede. I've only seen Stampede. But
I need to watch
Shiki,
Stampede.
in canon, Shiki was the only other person to ever have escaped Impel Down. Do you remember when they said that?
Oh, yeah. And he was the one that was in Stampede, right?
No, that was Douglas Bullitt. Shiki was like a way earlier movie.
Oh. No, I remember the name, but I don't
Golden
know.
Lion Shiki was canonically. It's one of those things where like Oda likes to mix canon in the movies occasionally. So like Golden Lion Shiki actually was mentioned in the manga as being the only other person to have escaped Impel Down. But he was never shown in canon. But then he had a movie where he came back and the Straw Hats interacted with him. But that part wasn't canon. But his existence and the fact that he escaped from Impel Down was canon.
Oh, okay.
He had the float fruit. Essentially, he could fucking fly.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
But here's the thing. I didn't. The reason I'm bringing this up is when she was first introduced and she was showing Orochi that she had the clone fruit. One of the faces she showed him was Shiki.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
So it makes people think she may have been part of the rocks.
Oh, that makes sense though. From okay, yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, like you got to think. Clearly, they have to be also like members of the clan that Orochi's part of, because otherwise, why would they? Because like, here's the thing, right? Why would they need Orochi? Seems like a needless middleman. Like, there's no reason to have him. If they just wanted power, she could have just turned into the fucking dad, and then done it herself. You know. So the only reason I see to have Orochi even involved is because they wanted to return their family to power. So like, I do think she's probably also somehow involved in the bloodline that Orochi is. Remember, because obviously. Just to remind you, in case you forgot, Orochi's like grandfather or whatever was like one of the daimyos or something, and like he was one of the 5 that was going to get picked to be the next shogun, but then he was like selfish about it, so he poisoned all the other daimyos, and then that he got found out. Remember?
Yeah.
So like, I'm assuming that they have something to do with his clan, but it's just kind of crazy. They have really, really high up their devil fruits. They seem to know way too much. Like, I want to find out more about them for sure.
Cause, man, I don't know, bro. Like, it seems like a lot of people for a country that's supposed to be, fucking,
Iceland.
secluded. People have been going out of the fucking world a lot.
I mean, well, we don't know what their fucking deal is. I mean, they've been probably in hiding for a long time. It wouldn't surprise me to like steal a boat or whatever.
Okay, so speaking of secluded, so. I want you. I know you're gonna be hype about this, bro. So basically,
Moria!
we find out that Gecko Moria actually fought.
I was waiting, bro. Oh.
So we now know the time frame.
Okay, there's a new phrase I've been seeing on Twitter, and when you get above 25, like I am, you start becoming disconnected with the new phrases and like the yeets and the yotes and all that shit. I've been seeing people saying drip. What is this?
So drip is the different kind of like basically.
Fix your phone. Can't hear you.
Basically, a style for character, like the type of like clothing a character wears.
Whatever. Look at the fucking drip on old Moria right now, or young Moria.
Like, I'm gonna be real. This man's drip is kind of lit. Yeah. Like, this man has style. And it's crazy too because
you were shitting on Moria.
I've been shit, bro.
Shut the fuck up. It's Red's turn right now. I've been standing Moria ever since goddamn Thriller Bark. I've been standing this man. I can call up Andrew Kemp, my best friend, right the fuck now and ask him. You ask him, what One Piece laugh do I always replicate when I'm doing one? I go, Kishi, because he's my fucking man. Whew. Woo! Hello?
Yeah, go ahead, bro. I'm right here.
I'm sorry, I had to hype, bro. People shit on Gecko Moria, but like his power's amazing. The man has a goddamn like empire, and he just sits there, like. And I know that's the part that people don't like about him, but like, goddamn, he was intimidating. Like, go back and watch that arc. That man just sat there, and he was like, "Yo, what's up?" Like, I'm just gonna sit here and let everyone else do shit for me, and it kind of worked. Like, and before and people always forget, the reason he became that way, the reason he was a fat, washed-up loser in Thriller Bark, was because he got his ass so decimated by Kaido, and every single one of his crewmates died. Literally, Kaido flexed on him so hard by killing his entire crew and leaving him alive just to fucking, like, wallow in that, bitch. And then he went back, probably devastated at the loss of his crew, and that's why he became obsessed with zombies and, like, oh, you know, they'll never die. I'll get a crew that'll never die. Like, Gecko's sad as fuck. And he had Dripppp!
He had Dripppp? Because this man's old shit, bro.
Bro, with the fucking, he's got Brickbat going on. Oh my, do you remember that? Brickbat! Oh. Brickbat is holding a fucking sword. Like, look at his coat, man. Oh. Like, oh. In the anime, that needs to be animated a bit. Like, Oda always does this shit where, like, the thing I want to see the most is one panel.
The one panel.
like I'm like, fuck Odin, bro. Show me this.
Show me. This man's standing hard. This man's standing Gecko Moria hard, bro. Hey, look, I feel that shit.
Bro, I just loved his aesthetic. I loved his island. I loved his fucking people that worked for him. Perona is best One Piece girl. Fight me.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that most of his crewmates died now, you know.
Bro, and now, like, and remember, I saw a good tweet that was hyping up, like, the man just went alone to Blackbeard's Island to get his boy back. Like, this, put some respect on that.
Oh, yeah. See, the thing is, though, like, people don't put enough respect on his name, but I don't know why. I've gone on record and said Thriller Bark is my most favorite arc. You know, I have my issues with it, my gripes and all that stuff, but to say it's not, you know, say Gecko Moria is not a good villain. Like, come on.
Bruh. Yeah, and, like you remember, like, what Luffy had to do to beat him? He had to go shadow Luffy. That fight was crazy.
Yeah, and when I first saw Shadow Luffy, mind you, I was like, what? I think I was in, I don't know, fucking age I was. I thought that was like not fan shit, but I was like, what the fuck is this shit? Like, this is before I got into One Piece, right?
Oda,
like, so
Oda will do some crazy, like, that was one of the moments where I realized that One Piece is so fucking unique, like, because that shit came out of fucking nowhere, but it made so much sense.
Shadow Luffy.
Also, like, please, Goda, to the Lord Goda, please have Gecko Moria somehow involved in this final fight, please. Like, I've said this before. Think about this man. And by the way, now I'm remembering too. Like, I was talking about Gecko Moria being involved back in the beginning of Wano too. Man, no one can doubt my fucking Moria standing. All right, but like, can you imagine? He comes in. Luffy's got Gear Forth and all this wacky shit, and then he's like, oh, it's not enough. It's not enough. I can't beat Kaido. And then Gecko Moria is like, I didn't want to do this, Straw Boy. Or I don't even know what he called him, but, like, you know, one of them fucking nicknames. Like, all right, fucking, God damn it, Straw Hat Man. I didn't want to do this. Didn't want to work with you, but here, I'm just going to shove a bunch of shadows in you. How many can you take? And, well, I took 100 2 years ago. Maybe I can take, I don't know, 1,000? Like, 1,000? What the fuck? I need it. Like, imagine, Luffy could literally, like, look at how big Kaido is. This man big. He chonky. Like, imagine Luffy, Gear Forth, sucking up 1,000-something shadows. Remember how big Gecko Moria got with 1,000 shadows? Think about a kaiju Hulk fucking battle. Luffy as big, like, just whipping around the dragon Kaido. Think about it. I need it. I'm so hyped right now.
Man, this chapter has been.
This arc has been, bro. Oh. Yeah,
this arc. So people unhyping it, bro. I'm gonna be real. Like, come on now.
I don't know what they want. Like, here's the thing. There's a subsect of people that read in any fandom that are obsessed with theories and fanfics, and they get into this zone where, like, anything less than fucking, like, you know, Blackbeard, Akainu, every single warlord constantly fighting for 20 chapters straight. I don't know what the fuck else would please them. Like they have to realize he's still got to tell a story. He's not just gonna. Look, they're the type of people. Did you ever watch Stampede?
No, I just told you I need to watch that shit. I need to watch it. I'm gonna watch it for sure.
So Stampede was like a big fan orgy. It was I don't know how to put it. Like, it was just like, there was no story to it. It was literally just all characters get together. It's just a million characters that you know and love, and they all come together, and it's crazy, and oh my god, and it's like Zoro cuts a fucking meteor, and fucking like Fujitora comes in, and like, oh my god, and then Mihawk shows up for a second. It's just like, right, and that's what these fucking fans want. That's what they want. But like, it's so like, but I'm sitting there and I'm watching it, and I'm like, I feel empty inside. I'm like, ugh. I mean, there's no substance to it. It's just like someone giving the fans everything they want without trying hard. But what they don't realize is the reason you feel hype when Zoro shows up and cuts a meteor, when Fujitora comes up and does some shit, when Mihawk comes up and does some shit, the reason you feel hype for that shit. Yes?
Yes,
okay.
I'm listening.
What's up? Oh, my roommate came in and is offering me, what is this?
A cookie.
Oh, thank you. They thick.
Yeah, so I need you to see if they're done. They're pretty warm yet, so.
Oh, I'm the guinea pig. Okay, I'm okay.
With roommate.
Ooh.
With roommate.
Oh, I like.
Yeah?
No, see,
oh my god.
I like them raw, though.
Okay.
Hold on. There's definitely dough in the middle, but I like that.
Okay, alright.
Mm-hmm. If you want them more done, maybe like 2-3 more minutes.
Yeah.
I love them, though. Yeah, thank you.
Which roommate, my boy?
Oh, yeah. She's making cookies.
It's a she, so it's Paige.
Yep. I just had a whammon come and give me cookies. Get fucking wrecked.
Look at it. Misogynistic pig.
What?
Nothing. I was acting like a feminist. Like a
I
woman.
didn't hear it over me eating this cookie that was made with love. Anyway, point being,
Just enjoy eating a cookie.
Yeah. Okay, listen. Here's the thing. These people don't realize that the reason that shit's hype is because Oda has spent 20 years setting it up. Okay? If you erased your memory of all that shit, and it was just these characters doing this shit, it wouldn't mean anything. Okay? So you have to have a story set up. You have to have these slow moments build up. The reason we're gonna scream and go, yeah, when Kaido gets fucked up, when Orochi gets fucked up, is because we're seeing this right now. We're seeing how much they are scum.
Because one thing you said, and I agree with that, is that the one thing Oda's really good at, it's making us want, like, making us as well as Luffy get mad at the main villain of the arc, so where when Luffy finally punches their face in, it feels satisfying as fuck.
Exactly. And it wouldn't, like, I think you understand this right now, Thurman, because, you know, you are smarter than the average weeb. But, like, when you're building a fictional fight, a lot of things go into it. One is the actual choreography and what you're seeing and the powers and all that stuff. But a very important part that people like King of Lightning or, you know, just power scalers don't understand is that the story around the fight matters so much. What the characters are fighting for, what it means when they win/lose. It's so important. So when Gon is smashing Neferupitu's head in Hunter x Hunter, it's not just because a muscly boy is smashing in a fucking androgynous ant's skull in. No, it means, oh fuck, you killed Kite. This is how I feel about that, right? Like, it's, the story means so much to these fights, and you have to have this build up in order for the fights to be even half as hype as they would be without it. So get the fuck over it if you have a problem with it. Just like seeing Moria now, the reason that one panel gave me that boner of hype was because we had a whole goddamn arc setting him up. The reason it's hype when Big Mom shows up is because we had a whole goddamn arc setting her up. The reason, you know, when we see Rob Lucci, you know, showing up in fucking Reverie, because we have a whole goddamn arc, it takes time. Okay? So, like, these people that complain don't realize how much time it takes to make them hyped about the thing that they want to be hyped about.
Yep. It's crazy, too, because, and this is why I'm going to keep plugging that liking gag characters or liking gag moments video is that stuff like that, it's the small stuff that makes you love the characters more. Because, like, I'm going to be real. We see it all the time, right? We see that I keep standing, you know, Konosuba and Gintama, but the reason why we like Gintoki and Kazuma and Darkness and Kagura so much is because we see them when they're not in their serious mode. We see them in their slice of life, you know, normal mode. We see their flaws, is it what they like? Like we see them as normal characters. So when they're fighting to protect whoever they care about, whether it be, a big villain or small villain, or, we see some dumb shit happen to them, we care because we see it's like we grew up with them. Like I went to high school with them. So when Oda has the making of a gag comedy writer, can't change my mind if Oda ever makes it to a series. Gag series time, boys. Anyway,
bold of you to assume Oda will be alive when he's done with all this. Knocking on wood.
So, right, like we have this situation to where we like Oda's built up these characters so well that shit like this, seeing Luffy punch the fucking face out of Kaido is gonna look great because. We see Kaido's a fucking asshole. Orochi.
Honestly, Orochi's more of an asshole so far. Like Kaido's just the muscle.
Yeah, but it makes us. Oda makes us like the characters to the point to where us seeing them getting their face punched in is just so satisfying. And I don't know why people like to miss that because you realize that those moments are more impactful because Oda builds it up. Mm-hmm. He builds it up. So, I mean, yeah, I love a good fight. Because, I always love a good fight. You know what I'm saying? Like a fucking good-ass fucking combat fight. Brad can vouch for me. He knows that I'm a slut for a fucking fight. I'm a huge-ass fucking cock-sucking slut for a fight, right? So, I had to be extra.
Yeah.
I had to be extra.
And I feel what you're saying. And honestly, just like I said to... Rax the Hero in a video that I did collabing with him, who is now canceled, by the way. Don't look into that.
Canceled.
I have canceled him personally. But that's another topic.
You blocked him? That counts canceling?
Well, I'm canceling. I'm personally canceling him. Also, I didn't block him. I just said, "Sir, do not talk to me on Twitter again. I do not like you."
Is that how that works?
I mean, I have a principled stance against blocking people. I think it's a fucking coward's way out.
Yeah, I only block people if you're being like harassed, like death threats and shit like that.
Yeah. Anyway,
that's what Red means, by the way. He's not saying you're a coward for blocking people. He's just saying him personally he doesn't like that. That does not mean not allowed to block people.
If you feel like it's genuinely affecting your mental state, sure, go ahead and block. I just don't like the people that use it for like, you have a different opinion than me. Block!
Block!
You know what I mean, right? You get me.
Oh, yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
I get you.
But anyway, trying to remember what I was saying. So yeah, I love these little scenes here with, the people that trust him most where, they're like, please tell us why, and he won't. And the scene that at first I thought it was played off as like a comedy line, but it was actually kind of sadder to me, was where he genuinely looks to Toki and is like, do you want a divorce? And at first I thought that was played up to be like a funny line, but actually it's really sad because like at this point Odin's just like, I understand if you don't want to be involved with me, but she's sticking with him, and so are the vassals, and it's very wholesome to me because obviously he's still a great father, he's still a great man. It's just he's the same person, but he has to go there every week to do this dance. And I also love this scene where Orochi, obviously thinking that it's going to be a big fuck you to Odin, like, I'm going to give him the newspaper, because obviously Orochi gets newspapers because he's connected with the world government. As we've seen, he's met with CP0 and stuff. Once he started taking over, he still an isolated country, but he gets information from the outside. But, so Orochi's like, oh, cool, Odin's friend just died. Let me just give him that, right? But what I love about this, too, is it reminds me, back in Sabaody, Rayleigh talked about how when he found out, on the day that Roger died, he said, I never cried as much as that day, I never laughed as much as that day, and I never drank as much as that day. Remember?
Yep.
And we see that Odin reacted the same way. He goes from crying to laughing to crying to laughing because Roger's life was just so spectacular. It's sad that it's done, but all they can think about is just happy memories because he truly lived his life. Most people, when a loved one dies, it's just going to be pure sad. But I think what Oda is trying to imply here is that Roger lived such a marvelous life that you can't even be fully sad because he truly lived he truly lived the best life you could possibly live, and there's no reason to have any regrets. And I think that's very beautiful.
Yeah, I can't really say anything after that, man. That was just great because I mean, it's probably the same way. Because what I want people to realize is that like keep in mind like where the flashbacks ended off at, right? Like their crime means way more now because of what the fuck we've been seeing so far. Like, do you not realize that? Like we know why Kiyomon and Dog Person and Nekamushi and all of them are like so eager to beat Orochi and Kaido is because of this right here.
Yeah.
Like this shit, if you realize that shit's fucking sad, man. Like holy shit. Like they are really banging on this. Like this is like probably the only last shot to avenge Odin, you know,
to fix their country.
Yeah, like this shit's very heartwarming, you know.
For Kienmon, it's the last shot to get back with his wife.
So shit. I
have more to talk about. Don't you worry.
Yeah, go ahead, because I think I've...
Oh, there's so much more. I don't even know. Like, we got the whole end of this, my dude. So he goes to hang out with Hyogoro, who is the one training Luffy right now, obviously. Whew, and this is fucked up.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Don't forget about that. So, essentially, you know, we see that they're still friends. It's like, yeah, you know, he's still able to go to them, and they treat him with respect. And I was like, oh, that's a nice scene. And then, of course, you have Orochi coming in. Like, what's up? We're turning your town into a fucking weapons factory. Odin, I expect your help. And he's, like, literally stepping on his face. And he's like, oh, okay, but the ships, right? Which has to do with whatever deal they made. And he's like, what are you talking about, right? Completely just ignoring the deal after 5 years of dancing. So at this point, Odin's like, fuck off, right? And also to put the nail in the coffin. By the way, we took your fucking, you know, Hyogoro friend. You know, he's gone, and also his wife was fucking holding on to him, wouldn't let go, so we just killed her. It's like, oh my god!
I'm gonna be so pissed if they censor all this shit in the anime, mind you.
Fuck
I mean, not like I'm gonna watch it anyway.
The anime's canceled.
Like, this just is so much impactful about, like, how dark it is. You feel me on that, right?
You saw that they canceled the fucking scene where, like, a mother was about to stab her baby, right?
Yeah. Oh, God.
Fuck the anime. Fuck it.
Like, these people don't understand. Like, these moments are so more impactful because of how dark they are.
Here's what the anime is good for at this point. Go and watch the fight scenes, and that's it.
I didn't even like the Kaido versus Luffy fight, I'm gonna be real.
Yeah, I heard they, like, extended it too much to the point where it didn't feel like a true one-shot.
Yeah, it didn't. It was like Luffy had way too much. Way too much, like...
Here's the thing, and I know they're getting close to it now. When Stealth Black Sanji versus Page 1, that's the one I can't wait
you're
for.
Going, huh?
What?
That's where you're going.
That's what I've been waiting. Yeah, I'm not even kidding you when I say this. I didn't even go back to watch the fucking Kaido Luffy fight. I literally still haven't seen it.
I watched it because a friend of mine, who in another friend group, told me about it. I was like, I literally what I did after I watched, I went back and read the part in the manga, and I was like, ew, this shit's fucking blasphemy.
No, but like here's the thing, man. I've literally been waiting ever since Wano began. The one thing I wanted to see in the anime was, all right, Stealth Black Sanji, Page 1, because they can only make it better. Because all they could do is extend it, and that's one that needs to be extended. Because literally Oda cut off the second half of the fight. We don't know how that shit ended to this day.
Gotta give it an ending.
Yeah, because all we saw was like he fucking went up to a roof after kicking him once. And then Page 1 was like, what the fuck? And then Sanji essentially fucking, like, flew up way high into the air and then just, like, drop kicked him from, like, 20 miles above. And then there was a huge explosion as, like, Frankie and Usopp were running away. That's all we saw. We need more.
Oh, my God.
Also, I'm probably going to need to see Sanji, like, peeping on Nami in the fucking anime as well. Like, finally succeeding. Succeeding and seeing the full frontal fucking, like, boob and vag of Nami. It finally happened. Good for him. Disclaimer, fictional characters have different standards. Obviously, in real life, if you're doing that, you're a bad person. Don't even conflate.
Don't we conflate? You mean complain?
No, you don't know what conflate means because you're dumb, Thurman.
I know what conflate means. I heard the word.
Conflate means take 2 points and compare them even though they're not the same.
Yeah.
Don't be dumb, Thurman.
Oh, look at him.
Hey Siri, define conflate.
Conflate means combine two or more texts, ideas, etc., into one.
Yeah, so I know what
Look
complete
at
means.
his Rick and Morty Senku showing. And you think your Siri's cool? I can literally talk to Google. So what you mean?
Well, I can talk to Alexa.
Okay, that's fine. Google is superior.
Yeah, well, it's also your overlord.
Yeah, well, so hold on, nigga. You have Apple, one of your overlords. Stop talking. Google's your
Okay.
overlord while having another overlord standing right behind you.
Oh yeah. So anyway, though, not only his wife, but like a bunch of his like men are dead because they tried to get him back, and yeah, basically we have this cool moment where Odin's like, "It's happening. You know, we're going in. This is our last chance here, and we're gonna do it." And what's cool about this is, I always got the impression that Kaido just overwhelmed them because he's Kaido. But the way that the narrator is like talking about this, he's acting like, you know,
Like they actually had a chance.
They stood up a chance. Like, yeah, like they really stood their ground and had a chance. And I think that's true because obviously, let's think about this here. Odin made Whitebeard sweat when he first met him. Whitebeard was sweating. Okay, we can't fucking sleep on that. And the narrator literally says in this fucking chapter here that Odin got stronger. I mean, think about it. He traveled with Whitebeard and Roger for like years. I would not be surprised in the slightest if Odin was at least close to Yonko level.
It wouldn't be doubtful because you were like, oh, because it has been 5 years, huh?
Think about it. Yeah, 5 years since the fucking clash that made Whitebeard sweat.
Yeah, okay.
Odin's straight up fuck. Like, he's not like full on Yonko level. Like, if he fought Whitebeard right now, Whitebeard'd still win. But like, I think he's like, let me just put it this way. If Odin fought Katakuri, Katakuri gets stomped. Like, I'd say low to mid diff, Odin beats Katakuri. Which is sad, but true.
I don't know why.
I hate to say it, because I love me some Katakuri.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I'm using that comparison because Katakuri is he's like a top commander of a Yonko, right? So I'm like, we're talking like King, Katakuri, whoever the fuck Shanks' right-hand man was. Fuck. I know Ben Beckman, but is that his right man? I don't know. Lucky Drew. I don't know. And then fucking Marco, right? But so like what I'm saying is like that's a first division commander, like a top Yonko commander, King, Katakuri, Marco, and then you have a Yonko, Whitebeard, Roger. Well, I guess he wasn't a Yonko. Whitebeard, Kaido. You get the idea, right?
Yeah.
I see Odin as somewhere in the middle of that. He's definitely more powerful than like first commanders.
Yeah,
but I don't
can
think
see
he's
that.
as powerful as a Yonko itself. So I think he's probably like 10% below a Yonko right now. Like, so if we're looking at like, all right, first commander, Yonko, he's closer to a Yonko, but he's not there yet. So it's like 75% of the way there is how I look at it.
Okay, that makes sense. I believe that.
Mm-hmm. Which is why what that means to me is that, you know, Odin, and he has his boys who, you know, may not be, like, you know, he's not as strong as Odin, but not scrubs either.
No, but
right?
you have to admit, they probably have been training over those 5 years to prepare.
Sure. So, like...
Because you know they say, like, okay, we've been waiting for this moment. So they probably, like, off-screen, they probably were training. You know,
sure.
So that makes a lot of sense,
Although
right?
you do have to keep in mind that Law practically destroyed Kinemon. But it is Law. Yeah.
Law, why wouldn't he?
Point being, though, Odin himself is going to literally wipe the floor with everyone but Kaido. You know, like at the power he's at now, King goes down to Odin, Queen goes down to Odin, Jack goes down to Odin. Like, any of Orochi's samurai go down to Odin. The only one Odin is going to have trouble with is Kaido himself. And we know that he puts the scar on Kaido. So, I genuinely think that this is probably the closest they saw to victory. And this was, because they talk about how this was known as like the Hour of Legends or whatever. I think this is probably a huge fight where they really genuinely almost got there. They almost did it. I think it's going to be very close, but then Kaido fucking brought down Divine Justice, essentially, right?
Divine Justice.
Didn't he call it that? Like Divine Thunder?
Or some shit, I think.
Yeah. And I'm trying to think what else. And then obviously we know they end up boiling him to death in like irony, which obviously it probably has something to do. You know how they keep putting him like different foods on his little fucking like whatever it's called, loincloth thing?
Yeah.
I think that's going to be where they're going with that, because I know they end up boiling him to death. Like, haha, because your name's Odin, we're going to boil you to death. Like, they've been like,
Ooh.
yeah.
That's such a F you.
We know they boil him to death. That was a thing they said in Zoe, unless it was just a pun. But
yeah,
it is a very.
Man.
Can you imagine dying that way too? Oh,
Boiling. Imagine boiling, bro. Like, this nigga was boiling. Oh god, like
yeah, it's fucked up.
Because it probably makes sense too. Because I think correct me if I'm wrong, but did Momonosuke see that shit?
Oh yeah.
Like imagine
if you go back and read Zoe, it looks like he has like some PTSD about it.
Yeah, man. Well, shit, Luffy.
Yeah, it's happening, bro. So like at this point now, I imagine 1-2 more chapters, and now because he's got to show us some of this fight. You cannot one panel this. You cannot fucking the tide of the battle switch back and forth. No.
Red having PTSD about that shit. Tide of the battle.
No, I still like bringing that up because that wasn't even in the official translation. Remember, that was the translation you showed me. Like, the tide of the battle switched back and forth, and then like the official translation said nothing like that.
That's so funny.
It's like when there was a fake SBS talking about how like who would win between Shanks and Mihawk, and like people were taking it as real for a while.
Oh really?
Yeah. And it was like, oh well, Mihawk would slightly edge him out, but it's still, yeah. And it was like, and then it ended up being fake the whole time. Like people want a fucking power scale for themselves. Like that translator must have been like, well, I know how the battle would have gone.
I know how the battle.
I'm a big enough fan.
I'm the biggest fan. I know how.
I'll take it into my hands personally to let the fandom know what happened.
Oda's gonna thank for this.
Whew. Well, good review, good chapter.
Thank you
At
for
this
helping
point,
his fan.
I'm so excited to see how this goes. I'm excited to cry because One Piece flashbacks normally make me cry. Make me cry. I'm ready for it. And honestly, at the end of the day, I'm incredibly excited to get back to the main story because I'm ready to see our boys, the Straw Hats, go in and whoop ass. But first, let's be honest here, with all the hype that Wano's been getting, they're not going to whip ass at first. They're going to fucking get destroyed. They are going to, Saboti Archipelago style, get fucked at first. I almost guarantee it.
Yep.
And I'm excited to see it.
If Law dies, I'm not reading One Piece for a week.
Do you realize, too, I don't know, I'm going to keep saying this, when he says he's not going to read One Piece for a week, that means nothing will change. Because, okay, let me just walk you through this. One Piece comes out Sunday. Law dies, as he will. All right, I'm not reading it for a week. A week goes by. Well, here comes the next chapter. It's been a week.
I need time to process it. What am my top 3? You know Law's in my fucking top 3 if he dies.
I'm just imagining the video. The video when Law dies. The review when Law dies.
I'm going to be so upset. I will be livid.
What if he has an awesome death? What if he has a great death?
No, fuck it. He's supposed to be alive and
what if
well.
He literally fucking saves the verse, bro.
I'm mad. I'll be so upset. I'd be Oda. That'd be the one time I'd be like, Oda, shitty writer, get off that character.
He's gonna die, bro. I'm telling you.
Hey, fan mail, angry fan mail. Oda, see, I'm gonna pull.
You're gonna fucking tight Kubo Byakuya this motherfucker.
I'll be like, see, Oda, you were better than Promised Neverland, but then you cut off.
Ew, he's trolling. I know he's trolling right now. I'm saving you from yourself right now, Thurman.
Nah, you're gonna say, nah, bro.
Either way, when that happened, now I'm concerned about Twitter though, because you know how motherfuckers are getting like the raws on like fucking Thursdays, and then you gotta avoid spoilers for like a half a week.
Oh yeah.
Like, you gotta be careful on who you're following, man, because if you get that shit spoiled through Twitter, I'm gonna be mad.
Oh no, there's no way, hell.
You don't think everyone's gonna be talking about Law dying the second that shit's out?
I'm gonna try to dodge it though. I'm gonna dodge it, see if I can.
Just notice as we go through all of these chapters who is talking about spoilers and who's not. And if motherfuckers are spoiling shit, I already blocked someone. I muted them. It was someone who was a fan of mine, or a fan of ours actually. I think it was because he was posting the raws of My Hero Academia, and it was like the shot where Shigaraki and the rest of them are like walking through the burned city, and I didn't know that was just like a imaginary. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. So
So I muted him. I love him, but I was like, nah, bro.
I muted him. No, he spoiled my Hergademia, so I muted him.
You're goddamn right. I'm not like bro. That's the worst. Like, do not, because here's the thing. It's one thing if it's been a week and I haven't read it. Okay, that's my fault, right? Like, I've been spoiled on shit before. Like Doctor Who, for example. Doctor Who. Spoiler alert for season 12 of Doctor Who. Captain Jack Harkness just came back. He's like an old character, and he just came back, and it's a big deal. And I didn't watch Doctor Who for 2 weeks, and I got spoiled on that, and I fully blame myself. That's on me, because I took too long to watch it. This motherfucker tweeted this picture out, and I love you. If you're watching this, I do love you. I still love you, man. But this motherfucker tweeted this shit out like Friday, before the official, 2 days before the officials were out. I was like, fuck off. You're getting muted. Muted doesn't mean blocked. Muted just means, you can still message me. You can see my shit. I just not seeing your shit, because I don't trust you to not post that shit again.
Oof. Yeah, I see it. I definitely see it.
Imagine for a second, because my first thought was when All Might dies. Is this motherfucker going to be like, All Might's dead on like Friday?
Oh my god!
Oh god, I'd be so pissed.
Well, this video has been going on long enough.
Anyway, yeah, don't spoil shit. Wait until fucking Sunday to talk about the fucking manga, please.
This is a 9 out of 10 chapter for me.
I'm looking forward to it, man. Oh, One Piece is getting epic. I can't wait for this. Oh, the end of this flashback, and then the fucking war, man. When we get to that, oh my god, it's like the hype is ramping up. I can't wait. And with that, peace.
Peace.